As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up
Welcome in on
to me
a
and asked me what
terrific Thursday. Have the dominoes begun to fall in conference expansion? You saw yesterday the Big 12 presidents and chancellors voted unanimously to accept, if they choose to come, and they will, Colorado into the fold. We're going to talk about that in a second. By the way, the U.S. women had to come back to draw with Netherlands, and they have a young lady named Lindsey Horan. You don't want to, in the words of the analyst on the panel, you don't want to piss her off. Isn't that amazing how we can use those words now? Like when I first started in talk radio in 1983, you could never say, you would have said, don't make her angry. You would never have said, don't piss her off. But here's what happened. Horan and a woman who's a midfielder for the Netherlands, a really good player, tough, not as big as Horan, but certainly brave, absolutely committed what could have been a yellow card foul. She was not going for the ball. This is when the Netherlands lead 1-0 early second half. And these two girls are teammates on a pro team in France. So they know each other. They go at it in practice all the time. This was, in my mind, a cheap shot. But it's a gritty one, and when the little person does it, like if I go after a big guy, or used to when I was, still playing basketball, and I would foul somebody hard, nobody would say a dang word if a little 5'6" guy goes at a guy 6'2", right? No. They call him Gutty. And that's what I would call this midfielder from the Netherlands. But Horan took exception because she was just going for the body. She was not even trying to get the ball. She took her out pretty good. So Horan is down for about 2 or 3 minutes and finally walks to the sideline, is drinking. Now you got to wait to get back into the game. You got to ask the referee for permission. So the next time there's some stoppage and the ball goes out of bounds, they let Horan come back into the game. During the next stoppage of time, Horan goes right to her pro teammate, the girl that took the cheap shot at her, and she, puts her hand on her arm and kind of shoves her, and then takes both arms and really shoves her. Now the referee comes in. The referee was smart enough because she could have called the yellow on this other girl, didn't. She lets it all go. She has a long talk with him, be friends, make up. She actually brought the two together like you would see at a youth game and tried to patch things up. They didn't really have much to say until after the game. But Horan does what she does best, and she got mad, and great players, when they get mad, what do? They take it out on you. They don't let their anger bother them. And several players were asked last night, do you play better angry? Like, I don't play better angry. But the great ones, apparently some of them do. And this girl did. So I swear to you, the next play after that stoppage, it's a corner and a perfectly placed corner kick off the head of Horan into the net, ties it at 1-1. And then the U.S. had, I don't know how many chances. In fact, they had one ball that was a goal called back because of offsides, and it was. It was slightly offside. So it was the right call. But this is a fun team to watch. They're still young, and they're still learning each other. Alex Morgan, of course, is a veteran. Two of the veterans, including Megan Rapinoe, did not play. So there was some criticism of the coach for not making substitutions in this game. It was an intense game for 100 minutes with the added time. And the U.S. just totally dominated them. Double-digit outshot them. Double-digit out-cornered them. The one goal in the first half was just absolutely horrendous defense. So many mistakes made by the USA. And they righted the ship in the second half and totally dominated the game. But now they get to draw. Most likely Netherlands and USA are going to make it into the knockout round. Portugal could have something to say because they beat Vietnam last night in the same group as the USA and Netherlands. They beat Vietnam. Vietnam's the fourth group. So, and then goal differential could come in if the U.S. wins or even draws. But there are more goals scored by Netherlands over Vietnam, and it's a +3 the U.S. has. We'll have to wait and see exactly who will be the top of that group. Because remember, you're the top of the group, you have the easier first-round matchup in the knockout round. So we'll wait and see, but it was interesting. Next game, I think, is it's at 1 o'clock in the morning, probably Eastern, midnight here. I bet you they did great ratings last night. I don't know if you can check that.
Yeah, I don't think that it comes back that quickly. Yeah. But, I mean, you're right, though. Prime time in both Eastern and Central time zones for that game is unbelievable.
8 o'clock Memphis, so 9 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, I guess a little late.
It's a part of prime time.
I thought it started at 7, quite frankly. I mean, at 7, quite frankly, because the coverage on Fox started really early, the pregame coverage.
Well,
they were talking about it for a good
three
bit.
3 games, too. Don't forget, that was the first of 3. That was a triple header last night.
No.
Well, they moved, not on the Big Fox, just the first game on the Big Fox. Then they were moving to FS1.
I saw this morning they had the Nigerian women were playing. Who would they have been playing?
Well, they had Portugal, Vietnam.
Australia.
The home team, Australia. Mm-hmm. Did they win? Probably.
Yeah. Oh, Nigeria was up 3-0, I believe, at a certain point in the game.
Oh, so Nigeria won the game.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But that stuff's interesting. All right, let's get to the heart of the matter here. Conference expansion, because I know so many people are wondering about it. So there's a couple things going on with Colorado. First off, part of the reason Colorado went to the Pac-12 to begin with was they really wanted to recruit California. They thought they had a really good link in Southern California in particular. Once Los Angeles is out of the picture, UCLA and USC, it really sort of hurt their recruiting, and, of course, television money is up for grabs. So we'll have to wait and see who else remains in the Pac-12. But Deion Sanders really wanted Colorado to move to the Big 12. Now, you think about their fan base. Believe it or not, Colorado was originally part of the Big 8. In fact, prior to the Big 8, there was something 7. I can't remember what it was. And if you can find that out really quick, and I want to say that was obviously it was Colorado, but I believe Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas might have been a part of all that. And this goes way, way back, but that was Colorado's roots. So they're really going back to their roots. Other things that if you look at it closely here, obviously Colorado plays in the Pac-12 this year, but after this year, I don't believe there's any exit fee for the teams leaving. So there's no financial constraint. And who knows what the TV money is going to be? Go ahead.
Big Six.
Big Six?
That was hard to find. I don't know why that was so difficult to find, but it was called the Big Six.
And who was in it?
It looks like it was mostly the Big 12 teams. It was
only 6 of them, though.
Only 6 of them. It looks like, well, those are the Big 8.
So Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Colorado.
Like you said, Colorado was the first edition, and it actually became the Big 7 at that point in time.
Okay.
It was 6 of the 7 state schools, it says.
Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska,
Not
Oklahoma State?
It says not yeah, that's right. Oklahoma State, and it's hard to find this. And then I guess you add Colorado and that's 7. Nebraska, Iowa State, Missouri.
Iowa State.
Iowa State, yeah, that's right.
And Missouri was in that?
And Missouri.
So you had Iowa State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, and Colorado. Those are the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're going back to their roots. Here's the thing. I know there were many people yesterday that thought, oh, my goodness, Colorado is getting in. That's the end of Memphis's tenure, end of Memphis's chances. I say it's the beginning of Memphis's chances. And here's why. You got an odd number. Now, in my mind, here's what you got to hope for. You got to have at least one. Maybe they had 3. You got to hope that the Arizona schools stay. If the Arizona schools stay in the Pac-12, SMU, Boise State, all those schools, those are the ones that are going to be vying, San Diego State, going to be vying to get into the Pac-12. And I think they will. But that opens the door for Memphis, for sure, to get into the Big 12. If the Arizona schools stay, that has to be a good sign, in my mind, for Memphis and the Big 12. And right now, you know they've got to add at least one. You can't have an odd number.
Not to get too hypothetical, because now we're playing like down the road, I suppose. But even if the Pac-12, let's say the Pac-12 is like totally dismantled and all these schools go to the Big 12, that still I feel like would be good for Memphis, because it puts a lot of pressure on the ACC. We've got to do something to get more schools, membership institutions, to compete. Especially
if they have the real fear of losing Clemson and Florida State to the SEC.
So either way, Memphis is in good shape, it seems like, to be one of the next schools in.
It certainly seems like the dominoes are beginning to fall. This is the first step. And I don't look at this as a negative. I don't. But there are some that did and thought, oh, that's it for Memphis. No, I think this absolutely opens up the door. You know, Mike Oresco, what can he say? But he's so right on with these things. You know, Mike Oresco, this is what he called the way conference expansion has been. He calls it pretty predatory. And I think he's right on the money with it. I mean, there are no rules. There's no moral obligations. There's no loyalty. It's strictly money. What do you think is the best for your school? And he gets it. He said, I'm not mad at Cincinnati or UCF or Houston. We made them better. And they had opportunities to get more cash, basically. How can you be mad at them? I'm not mad at their commissioner. I hope Judy, whatever her name is, I forget, the conference commissioner of CUSA. I hope she's not mad at me. I consider her a friend. But we had to do what we had to do. We think what we've got coming in is better. And that's another interesting thing is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this with Jarvis Greer and Russell Copeland, who will join us next, as we always talk NFL and a whole bunch of stuff with Russell on Thursdays, and Jarvo ends our hour. But the Tigers football coach Ryan Silverfield 2 days ago made the comment he thought the conference actually, top to bottom, could be stronger now with the addition of the new schools. So I look at this. You just lost Cincinnati, a team that was in the playoff 2 years ago. They lost Houston, which has been competing in power conferences in the past and done well. In fact,
it's like Case Keenum dating back to even that point.
Well, you go way back to their days in the Big 12. I think they competed for a national championship one year. Check that out. That was a long time ago, probably in the 60s, 70s. But they had a run. And now UCF's a newcomer. So, that's just a great market. And they were very proactive. And, heck, they're the largest or second largest school in the country now.
Finished fourth in 1976, went 10-2, 11-1 in 79, 11-1 in 73.
There you go. Who was their coach?
In 79, it was not readily available. Give me a minute.
All right, no problem. The bottom line is 2 incredible brand names, and now the second largest school in the country.
Bill Yeoman.
Bill Yeoman. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. Bill Yeoman. Right. And you've replaced them with Texas San Antonio. Granted, a coming-on program, a team that has won the last 2 Conference USA championships. So I'm going to say solid, but I don't believe it replaces at least 2 of those schools in terms of tradition and history. And honestly, recent history, UCF's been pretty good. I would say better than Texas San Antonio. You get Florida Atlantic, which obviously got to the Final Four last year in basketball. Football, you know what? That is exactly where the Ole Miss coach came from. So there's some football history, too, that's on the plus side. North Texas, which has been in leagues with Memphis before. UAB, we got the Battle of the Bones. And honestly, Bill Clark, the way he resurrected that program, and I got really good feelings about Trent Dilfer. That's solid. Now you got Rice and you got Charlotte, which just began playing Division I football. And Rice, which, might have been a powerhouse in the 20s, and I'm talking 1920s.
A couple years ago, they had a transfer running back from, Michigan that did, a flip in the end zone and made waves. That's the most Rice football I think has been rolling.
You know what? Every time you go to Rice, you go, hey, we're playing in the site of the second Super Bowl.
How about that history? Bart Starr played on this field.
But that's all you got. Plus which, it's decrepit, and they've, covered half of it. They get 150 people at the games. Look, I want to be as positive as I can about this. And I do think North Texas, UAB, Texas San Antonio for sure, and maybe FAU, they're good. They're decent. It's good fill-in. It's what it is. It's fill-in. It does not replace Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. As much as we'd like to say it does, it doesn't. That's why Memphis is open and praying we get the Big 12. But, so I'm not going along with Ryan on this one, but a good try. Absolutely. Incidentally, speaking of the U of M, Penny Hardaway has a press conference today because, the Tigers are leaving, I think, this weekend to go to the Dominican Republic. It may be early next week they're leaving. So it's been since, I think, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl golf tournament, which was what, first week of June?
That's right.
When were we out there? First week of June, right?
That's right.
That'll be the first time Penny has spoken to the media. Certainly it's the first time since he got Quinterly and Brown and a bunch of these guys. So he will speak at about 11. I'm going to jet from here to there to see what it's all about, but I'm looking forward to all of that. Real quick, Major League Baseball, Shohei off the market.
Completely announced this morning.
Look.
And they're buyers instead.
I know it.
To pitchers, no less.
Well, I thought that was brilliant.
But they're...
First of all, if you look at it, they're what? How many games out of the wild card are they? They're not far.
No, not far at all.
And they got the White Sox ace, Lucas Giolito. He's a good pitcher. So I don't blame them because they shouldn't be selling. In this market, they should be buyers. Now, what will the Cardinals do? I think the Cardinals are waiting for this Cubs series. I really do.
Angels are 4 games out of the wild card.
Okay. The Cubs and the Cardinals series. Now, if the Cubs take 3 or 4 from St. Louis again, and that series begins in St. Louis, if the Cardinals lose 3 out of 4 again, they're going to become sellers. Right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I just never see, like Tim Doolin said this the other day with you too. I just never seen it before. Like conventional thinking would say, yeah, this team's got to sell.
This is the worst they've been in I don't know how many years.
Since I've been alive. I mean, truly, since I've been
alive. I think that might be right. I remember. I unfortunately can't remember totally. Terrible. Getting old.
But it's
a bummer. But Yeah, I want to say this is the worst record they've had since the 80s. Is that right?
Oh, it has
84,
to be.
something like that?
That sounds right to me. I mean, it has to be. It's been absolutely terrible. But go back to the Angels, too. I think you're right. Giolito's a great pitcher, and he certainly helps. But that lineup is atrocious. They can't score any runs. They're starting AAA players at every position almost.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what Giolito helps with you there. If he goes out there and only gives up 1-2 runs in 6 innings, if you don't score any, you still lose the baseball game.
You're hoping ththese guys start hitting.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's all you can do. But you're close enough where – and that was the best deal they could do. The White Sox got a good catching prospect out of this. I hope so. Because the White Sox are one of the most disappointing teams in the majors this year. I would say the Padres number 1 and the White Sox number 2. The White Sox were supposed to compete for sure in that division.
Cardinals are up there.
Well, the Cardinals are up there, but most people had the Brewers winning that division anyway.
I would say you're probably right.
I think the Reds are a positive surprise. You call them your team now.
Well, not mine.
Who knew that kid was going to come up and go crazy like he has? Defensive plays, home runs, stolen bases. That's a great story.
They got 2 kids, too. Another Encarnacio Strand is another guy they just called up that's been really good as well. That's a good baseball team right there.
All right, we're going to talk some NFL and stuff that's going on. Camps opened yesterday. DeAndre Hopkins is now a Tennessee Titan. We'll get Russell Copeland's take on all of that. We sit in the Family Leisure studio. Again, help them clear their inventory with the clearance sale going on at I-40 and Wooden Road. Do-it-yourself pools, if you're really handy, $1,000 off a pool. And there are some special 24-foot round pools that are selling for under $2,000. There's select play gyms that are $18.99, and patio furniture has 30% off. 24 months, same as cash financing. Now going on at Family Leisure with the summer clearance sale. And our title sponsor is Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know that's in Olive Branch. Homer now has all these guys, all this group together, and because of that, they seem to be getting more and more cars in daily and making great deals. And the same team that's been around Craft Road and Highway 78 for 15 or 20 years can really make you offers, including this Genesis deal. If you finance with Genesis and you want that little rocket ship, that G70, you get a $1,000 rebate once you sign up with Genesis. It's simple. Go see Chris True, or in the G70, go see Vinny Gerard. He's over the Genesis cars. Just work with a team that has the best retention mark ever in the history of car dealing. Go see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis. We take a break. We're back in just a minute. Russell Copeland on football. He's next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
The FedEx Cup playoffs start in Memphis at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Come out to TPC Southwind August 9th through the 13th and watch the PGA Tour's top players battle to make it through Memphis. Enjoy Memphis at its finest with specialty cocktails, local eats, a vibrant atmosphere, and much more. 2 kids 15 and under admitted free with a ticketed adult. Daily grounds and upgraded tickets are available now at FedExChampionship.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Hey Mid-South, the Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event has never been hotter than right now at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. How about 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander? 7 seats, 27 mpg combined, leave Gossett at $449 a month. Or get ready to take your pick from 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander or 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, 420 total range, 64 combined MPGe. Get ready to ride for just $499 a month at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
20 cents excess mileage. Outlander PZ012158, MSRP 34555. Outlander SE PZ041164, MSRP 35585. PHEV PZ040302, 24 months, 12,000 miles per year. MSRP 48230. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Mornings still very nice, aren't they? That's when you should be out playing. Try to get in really early so you're through by 10 to listen to us. That would be the way to go. But my way to for sure tell you is to get out to Miramichi early. Now, they're very conscious about water stations there, and there's plenty of shade that make it a little easier, I think, to play Miramichi. And if you want to brave the heat, you get a little enticement. It's cheaper to play after 12 o'clock, $10 off, $13 off after 3 o'clock. So you get a break on that, but I'd go early. I'd spend the money. I'd really enjoy the beauty and the challenge of Miramichi. 5 different tee boxes, whatever your heart desires. Know this, beauty everywhere and a challenge and just a lot of fun. If you love golf, you will love Miramichi. I promise, the best practice facility of any public course there is. The best. And a great driving range to go with it. It's ideal. All you got to do is go about 10 minutes north of downtown. Woodstock. 19 minutes I've done it now from my house in East Memphis. Real simple. Just go see the folks north of downtown at Miramichi. Russell Copeland joins us now. Yesterday, NFL camps opened, and the Titans have a new receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, who looked, by the way, in incredible physical shape. And he said all the right things yesterday about running backs and Derrick Henry in particular. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Good morning. As far as, DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Titans, I really did not see that move happening. I know the Titans were really invested in trying to get Hopkins. I think they were the only team that were willing to invest the type of money that he was looking for. I think he's in tremendous shape. The question that I have for DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think he's still a number one wide receiver, but I do think he's better than the wide receivers that they have on board. So I think he'll be a big asset. I don't think he replaces the production of A.J. Brown, but it will give them a reliable option, especially in the red zone area. He'll give you the 50-50 balls, but replacing A.J. Brown is going to be very difficult for them.
And you got to develop a chemistry, and I heard Ryan Tannehill talk about that yesterday, and he thinks he can. That's what camps are all about, but that's going to be critical. Do you see Tannehill and Hopkins becoming a in sync pair?
I do think they will be in sync, but the receiver that I'm going to be looking for is Treylon Burks from Arkansas. I think he has to step up in year 2. I think he can become the type of player Hopefully that A.J. Brown was, but I do think they will get some chemistry. But my biggest question is, I think that DeAndre Hopkins now is a number 2 wide receiver, but he is better than what they have. I don't think he is still that number 1 wide receiver that we saw when he was with the Texans and also early on with the Arizona Cardinals.
All right. This week was interesting. You had a bunch of running backs, including Saquon Barkley, who ended up signing a 1-year deal for $11 million. We saw our friend Tony Pollard get a $10 million franchise tag, which is really 10 times the amount of money that he made a year ago. But in all honesty, it's because that position isn't playing that well. But I wanted to go over some numbers with you here, okay? Justin Herbert, he signed a 5-year contract extension, 5-year, $262.5 million. $133.7 million is guaranteed. If he got injured, actually $193.7 is guaranteed if he cannot play because of injury. Okay? So you see those numbers. Left tackle Andrew Thomas for the New York Giants signed a 5-year, $117 million. His only guarantee was that he got paid up front, signing bonus of $67 million. That's it. Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, in the NBA, just signed a 5-year, $307.7 million deal, all guaranteed. Once he signed it, no matter what happens, unless I guess there was a moral clause probably put in there, it's his. That money is his. Major League Baseball has guaranteed money. NBA's got the best of the guaranteed deals. Why do you think, Russell, in a sport where there's more injury than any other, the NFL has gotten away without having to pay their players guaranteed money all the way through?
I think you're looking at apples and oranges. When you look at baseball and you look at basketball, you have to look at the total number of players. The total number of players in basketball is around 14, 15 players. The National Football League owners cannot afford to guarantee every single contract in the NFL. That's just, I mean, if you look at the mathematics, you have 53 players. You cannot guarantee all of those players. So I do understand that. But I do, when you look at the running back position, that's what we're talking about, especially when you were talking about the quarterback position in Justin Herbert. The numbers that I have is 5-year, $218 million guaranteed with an average of $52 million. Now, when you look at the running back position, they are the least paid position by all players. When you look at quarterbacks, as far as franchise tag, the average of the top 5, $32 million. Wide receivers at 19.7, tight ends are 11.3, offensive linemen at 18.2. Running back is just over 10.1. Then you get to the defensive side of the football, 19.7 for defensive end, defensive tackle 18.9, linebackers 20.9, cornerbacks 18.1, and the safeties 14.6. A running back that carries the load, they're not even getting half of what a kicker gets, and a kicker gets 5.3, a kicker and a punter.
Wow. So they're getting double. Right, it's 10.1. Yeah. They're getting double what the kicker makes, but they're not getting. I guess after that, they're the lowest paid, right? By what you just said.
Yes, they are the lowest paid. But to answer your question, I think the reason why you don't see guaranteed money when you look at baseball and basketball, I think it's the sheer number. When you have 14 players and you can guarantee 14 players compared to guaranteeing 53 players, the mathematics tells you that owners cannot afford to do that. And especially when you look at the quarterback position, you know, we're talking about quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts reset the market at 255. He got 179 guaranteed. Lamar Jackson got 260, 185 guaranteed. And we just talked about Justin Herbert, 5-year, 262 with $218 million guaranteed. That alone, if you looked at wide receivers, offensive linemen, and defensive linemen, and you look at how, you know, that average is going up, they could not afford to guarantee every player.
Aaron Rodgers just took, I guess, a pay cut to stay, or at least a single season cut with deferred payments. I'm guessing to accommodate what the Jets are trying to do. Do you see Rodgers as a generous fellow when he does this?
I think when you look at the money that Aaron Rodgers has made, I think when you look at the success that he's had at Green Bay, I think he knows he's at the end of the road perhaps, and he wants to win another championship. So I think the $35 million that he left on the table to renegotiate, I think he wants to be able to get other players around him. And the player that I think that they're trying to get is Dalvin Cook. That is a running back. at the running back position or opening up other areas to be able to solidify that team offensively and defensively, and even on special teams when you look at a returner. So I think that's the direction that Aaron Rodgers is going.
When we talk about the running backs now being the second lowest paid position in the NFL behind kickers and punters, it's pretty staggering because it used to be one of the highest paid positions. It's certainly the shortest longevity position. And I heard our friend Doc Holliday, your former teammate, talk on television on Action News 5 about what a disrespect this is to running backs, because it's the only position where you're asked to carry the ball, catch the ball, block for the quarterback, block downfield. There's so many different things. Be a decoy. There are so many different things a running back has to do. I think he questioned the league's devaluing of that position. Give me, as a wide receiver, your take on all of that. Do you think that will change over time?
Well, I totally agree with Doc Holliday. And, 9 times out of 10, if you do not have a running game in the National Football League, it's going to be very difficult to win playoff games and also to win championships. But these players, they have to have leverage. And to get leverage, you have to really be selfish, to be honest about it. You have to think about your career. And at the running back position, Todd Gurley reset the market. 4-year, $57 million, $45 million guaranteed. He was averaging 14.2. Ezekiel Elliott came behind him and signed a 6-year, $90 million contract. $50 million guaranteed, $15 million per year. Where am I going? The market was reset. McCaffrey comes after them. He signs a 4-year, $64 million contract, $38 million guaranteed. He averages $16 million per year. Derrick Henry, we've seen how he's been pretty much the biggest percentage of a running back and an offensive player the last 4 or 5 years. He's only got a $12 million signing bonus, $25.5 guaranteed. He's only averaging 12.5. If you look at where I'm going, the market was set at $15 million. Then it was set at $16 million by Christian McCaffrey. He reset the market and gave the owners and the team the leverage. Now, when you look at the average per year, McCaffrey's at 16, Kamara's at 15, Dalvin Cook was at 12.6, but now he has to renegotiate.
Right.
Derrick Henry, 12.5, Chubb at 12.2. Then you get to Aaron Jones at 12, and Pollard, Jacobs, and Barkley, who just signed tenders, are at $10 million. So the players, when your time is up and your contract is up as a running back position, they have to fight to get that average up. And Derrick Henry killed the market at the running back position.
Wow. So point the finger at the Titans.
Well, you look at the Titans, they got a great player, and they got him for a cheap market. They got him at a cheap market. And when you look at what Derrick Henry has done, it's going to be very difficult for a running back to outplay that. Derrick Henry, over the past 4 years, he's put up numbers that we haven't seen since probably Adrian Peterson. So now when he lowers that market, it's going to be very difficult for, production-wise, for a running back to outplay that. So now that market is going to keep shrinking. Now you look at the quarterback position, you see how high it is. You got players like Daniel Jones, who had an average year last year with only 15 touchdowns. He gets 4-year, 160. So that's my point. You have to be able to stretch and get your work at the running back position, and Derrick Henry did not do that.
Saquon Barkley, if he has a great year this year, it's 1 year. Can he reset the market, or for that matter, Tony Pollard?
Either one of those players can reset the market, but when you go back in and you look at you're still going to go back to Derrick Henry because he was the last running back that signed. Now you look at they're going to try to give him a contract that's just slightly above that. You're not going to see a running back unless they put up some really big Derrick Henry type of numbers, 1,800, 1,900, maybe 2,000 yards, to be able to get back to the contract where Ezekiel Elliott has set it at 6-year, $90 million. I don't see that happening for the next 2 or 3 years. I don't see any running back in the National Football League that I think could put up the numbers that Derrick Henry had and had the bargaining chips that Derrick Henry had, but yet he took average pay.
All right, let me switch gears. College football, the Tigers, of which you are a part of our radio broadcast on the Tigers Network. Ryan Silverfield did not feel disrespected with fourth. He says his Tigers have to earn the preseason media voting poll, and they hadn't played well enough the last couple of years to earn better than a fourth-place prognostication. He also said he thinks the league may be a little bit deeper with the loss of UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston, but the addition of Texas San Antonio picked second, FAU, North Texas, UAB, and that's a great rivalry with Memphis, Rice, and Charlotte. You buying any of that?
Well, I do like the additions of Florida Atlantic, North Texas, UAB, and UTSA. But you have to look at the past several years. When you look at Houston, when you look at Cincinnati, and you look at UCF, over those past 7 years, they've won or been in the championship game 6 out of the 7 times. So to be able to replace that production and to be able to replace the competitive edge that those teams had and where they were ranked in the top 25, I think it's going to be tough. And I mean, you can go back to 2015. Houston was ranked 17th. They won the championship. You know, our Tigers were ranked 16th and 17, went against number 12 UCF. 18, UCF won the championship, ranked number 7. 19, our Tigers won at 16, but they went against Cincinnati at 21. 20, number 16, Cincinnati, beat Tulsa. 21, number 3, Cincinnati, beat number 16, Houston. And last year, number 18, Tulane, beat number 22, UCF. I think it's going to be deep, but it's really going to be tough when you look at what those teams meant to this league. It's going to be really tough.
Hi, hard one for you. Is Memphis going to finish higher than fourth place?
I do think Memphis will finish higher. I think this is a very winnable schedule. I think it's going to be competitive. But like I said, when I look at the teams that left, Memphis was right in there. They're only one of the other 2 teams that have been to the championship 3 times, and that's UCF and Cincinnati. So I do think Memphis can finish, 2 or 3. I'm not going to say number 1, but I think they could finish 2 or 3.
Okay. I think they can finish number 1 because they got number 1, Tulane, at home. They haven't lost to them in 9 years. They got number 3, SMU, at home. Everybody else on that schedule is under 7 in the poll, including 13 and 14. That's Charlotte and Rice.
I'll tell you what. I love my Tigers. I love the Tigers, but Tulane is going to be a tough out. Whether you play them in Tulane, whether you play them at home, that's going to be a tough out. And every time we play SMU, it's always a tough game. SMU has not won here in a very long time, but I really do like Tulane in this division.
Okay. Memphis at home. If they get them, then you're sitting in pretty. By the way, they don't play Rice. They play USF and Charlotte. They were picked 13 and 14. Can't wait for football to begin. I know we will talk again in 2 weeks, and we'll get closer. Camps will really be going in the NFL, and we'll be starting to talk about fall practice, for the Tigers. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you, Dave.
That's Russell Copeland. He's brought to you in part by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Here's an important number, 384-3511. That goes with the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up. Get that tune-up, your system lasts longer. Mine lasted 18 years. Get that tune-up, your MLGW bill goes down because you're efficient. It's easy. Your house is cool, no breakdowns, and it's $69. Chicken soup, preventative medicine for your system. Get that air conditioning all tuned up. 384-3511. That's Conway. Back in just a minute, Jarvo. He's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
At Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, it's time to make this the summer sales event you've been hoping for. Take a power trip in 2023 Fiat 500X Pop 4-door all-wheel drive, $27,990 or $408 a month. Dominate in the beast. 2023 Dodge Charger XST 4-door, we Gossett at $30,990 or $458 a month. And rule the road in dependable power 2023 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab 4x2, $32,990 or $474 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
75 months at 6.10 APR, 3,500 down, pop, BP 990492, MSRP 31,355, Charger PH 504,815, MSRP 35,630, Ram PS 55,4620, MSRP 40,460, includes all rebates and incentives, PS 695, excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Thursday disappearing before our very eyes, and we get to talk with our friend. He's everywhere. Jarvis Greer joins us in a second. He's brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big deal. You're building that dream home. Maybe you got some land in your family. You're not sure how to utilize it. Oh, he knows. Maybe you're looking for land. Oh, he's got that too. Maybe you want to renovate your older house. You really don't want to move, but you want modern amenities. I call it renovation with innovation. Ken Garland is your man. Go to kengarland.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see houses, palaces, I should say, that have been built over the last 60 years by his father and by him. Second generation. I mean, beautiful. Eye for detail. Knows detail, big picture, all at once. A rare guy, and he knows you're making a commitment. That's why he works closely with you, and you will get on time and quality budget. 2 generations tell you your place to go is Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Jarvis Greer, what was your first reaction yesterday when you saw the Big 12 presidents and chancellors unanimously voted to bring in Colorado? Good morning.
Hey, Dave. Wow, my first reaction, well, that looks like it's going to be tough for the Tigers. Because I don't know why people think that it's all about what you do on the field, because it's not. If you look at it, Colorado's hadn't been that great in basketball or football. Yeah, they got Deion Sanders, and that makes a lot of noise. But I guess they like the Denver market, and that's about it. Colorado used to be with the old Big 8, right? Were they a charter?
They were actually part of the 7. They made it 7 before it was 8, and then 12. Here's the thing. Your reaction has been one that I've seen. My reaction is a 180. Now that you have an odd number, you've got to add at least one more team, maybe 3. I think it's the beginning of the dominoes falling that could put Memphis in a great position.
It could, except all the talk now is about whether they're trying to go after maybe one of the 4 corner schools in the Pac-12.
Well, that's
Arizona,
the key.
Arizona State.
If Arizona and Arizona State stay with the Pac-12, then I think this is really good news.
I think so too, and that's what you got to hope for as far as that's concerned. There was talk that the Pac-12 would go. I mean, the Big 12 would go. A group of 5 and a Power 5, and if that is still on the burner, it may be on the back burner, then I would think Memphis would have a really good shot because Memphis is in a really great spot for the Big 12 in terms of geography, fit, and all the rest of that stuff is perfect for, to get the Eastern schools in that league to be the tie because it's kind of like right in the middle, Memphis is. And there's a lot to offer with, the school getting its R1 status as far as a research university.
Do you think that
as
stuff
far
really
as on
matters?
The academic side?
Isn't that just window dressing? Do you think that really matters? I wish it would because Memphis has become a great school in that regard. It's grown in numbers. It is integral to the city because it educates the masses. It has become an R1 school. There's cranes that have been on campus recently. There's a great law school. There's a great nursing school. There's so many things that are positive. But I don't really, in my heart, wonder if the TV executives or the presidents of other those other Big 12 universities really sit down and look at those issues. Those are usually things to say, yeah, we kind of added that in at the end, but I don't really know if it matters. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I think that, that was all the talk at the beginning. What do you bring? And I think it's now more about TV, money, whatever think they get into a big market, because I think that's what helped Houston to get back in. Houston was in that shindig a while ago. They got out. Now it looks like now they are back in. And even though, most people in Houston care about their professional sports teams and Texas A&M or Texas, Houston's on like the 6th page of their sports section.
Right.
The University of Houston.
Yeah. It's product penetration is not great.
Yeah. Kind of the same with Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, more people care about Kentucky in Cincinnati than they do about the Bearcats. It's they kind of overlook the fact that Memphis is dominant here in every single thing that the University of Memphis is dominant here, as far as folks in this area are concerned. But the market size now, Memphis is I think 51st in the nation. But still, there's factors in there that. And
yeah, I hate when you bring that up because when I first came here in 1981. 38th TV market.
38, that's right, yeah. And what's really kills me because it's like they are the market here, or the area, the ADI and all that stuff you want to, all those metrics that they use, the Memphis market is like artificially depressed because you don't get to claim Jonesboro, you don't get to claim Jackson, Tennessee, but Nashville gets to claim Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is farther away than any of those two, cities in our demographic, and their market gets enlarged. The city of Nashville is not bigger than Memphis, but the area that they get to claim is bigger than Memphis. So, it's just a lot of things in there that, things that I don't know, about. But, there's still hope. You got to be the best in what you are, where you are, before you can even think about, trying to get somewhere else. And that's one thing that I've always believed, and that's what we got to talk to Bill Hargrave about at the sponsors thing the other day for Tiger Sports Properties, and say, look, you got to just do the best you can where you are, and if you are, that's what Louisville did when they got in the ACC. They elevated all their programs and all their facilities and really made themselves, they were always good in basketball, but they got their football team up to snuff, and they started doing better in baseball and women's sports and other things. And they were able to make the jump, and that's what University of Memphis is going to have to do. concentrated on being the best you can be where you are. And with this, the expansion of the playoff to 12 teams, that's going to help.
Yeah.
Because, Memphis should be in a good position to dominate the current American Athletic Conference and hopefully get a spot like in a New Year's Six.
In the group of 5 position to be in the playoffs. Yeah, I think, honestly, your chances of getting to a playoff spot are better as a group of 5 member than they might be if you were in the Big 12. But
and I'm going to say
we'll
this, and there's a lot of people that say, well, wouldn't you want to have a chance to get, that New Year's Six spot, then be, at the bottom of, some Power 5, quote-unquote, league? And I have to say no.
I agree.
Because if you're in a Power 5 league, man, you get that money coming in every year. You get that TV money coming in every year. One thing that Laird Beast, the athletic director, spoke at the Rotary Club the other day. He said if you look at it in the past 10 years, when that first time that the Big 12 said they were going to expand, and you look what the AAC was paying and what the Big 12 was paying, if you go over that 10 years, that's about $202 million that you missed out on.
Right.
$202 million.
And you got to sweat over making ends meet, whereas you're skating if you are part of the other. All right, last thing because we'll run out of time. 4th place prognostication by the media, of which I don't know who had a vote in Memphis for that. I don't know if anybody did. But
I think, one of the guys for the Daily Memphian had a vote.
So that would have been Bonner? He was the only guy there that I know
I think
of.
It was Frank, yeah.
Frank Bonner.
No, they sent 2.
Tim Buckley?
Drew Hill. I think Drew Hill went. But and he voted for Memphis. So that was the one vote that was the first place vote. And if you look at it, okay, Texas San Antonio, I get they're picked to win the league. They were 11-2, 12-2, 11-3, 12-2 over the past 2 years.
No, they weren't. They were picked second. Tulane was picked first.
Oh, picked Tulane, yeah, because they're
defending
got their
champions.
quarterback back from their Cotton Bowl winning team. They beat USC. Okay, got it. But I don't see now SMU is 3rd, and of course they are giving out all that NIL money, so they may. But I don't know. One thing Ryan Silverfield said, hey, Tulane was picked 7th last year,
right?
And they end up winning the league and going to the Cotton Bowl and beating USC. So,
right. Well, out of the last 9 prognostications, those preseason polls, 3 ended up winning. So you're 1 out of 3.
Yeah. So that's what I put into the poll. I think Memphis will be really good, and I think they'll challenge for the title. And I think if Houston, UCF, and who is that? Who am I missing? Houston, UCF,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. If they'd have been in the league this year, they would have challenged for it if they'd still been in the league. So I think that's how good Memphis will be.
All right, my friend, we're off next week. We'll talk in 2 weeks. We'll reconvene.
Sounds good, Dave. Have fun.
Thank you, my friend. As always, we appreciate it. That is Jarvis Greer. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team, and they're a team. They're big Tiger guys, just like Jarvo, like Russell Copeland. In fact, Matt put in his phone number, 901-386-GUR. That's 4777. And the way he works is he gets to know your family, gets to know what your needs are, understands all of that, and then figures out your budget that is appropriate, and then he protects you, whether that's home, life insurance, auto insurance, all that goes in. He figures it out for you and protects you. Same thing with commercial insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, that's his expertise. He gets to know you, your employees, your product, all of that. And then your budget, and then protects you. 386-4777 or GUR. That's the number to get protected with the collaborative way. That's the Eflin Insurance Team. That'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow.